Communities depend on fair laws and inclusive policies to protect their rights, their environment, and their future. With support from Advocate Sans Frontiers, the Legal Resources Foundation is auditing key government policies to identify gaps and strengthen civic participation in county decision-making. This film brings together lessons from two counties, Isiolo and Mombasa, where multi-stakeholder dialogues open space for citizens to validate their audits and chart the way forward. In Isiolo County, the audit focused on environmental and natural resource governance.
The thematic area with regards to this project was auditing the legal laws, that is the legal framework within Isiolo, with reference to the following thematic area, that is the environment, the land tenure, security, shared ecosystem, and the natural resources. Why it is important for Isiolo to take up this project is because there have been so many historical injustices that have been happening. There have been a lot of issues with regards to land registration with reference to titling. So many people within Isiolo or the community have been raising issues with reference to lack of titling. And once they move to court, they are being informed that they have to follow the right procedure, and there are no proper mechanisms or institutional frameworks with reference to land tenure security. Another issue is that the raised historical injustices with reference to the fights within Burat and the KDF, and also the cases that are within the Isiolo County in reference to Mombasa. They are going to be a light. This project is going to channel or give recommendations in the manner in which disputes raised or the conflict raised within the Isiolo County can be resolved.
Communities here face fragile ecosystems, pressures from sand harvesting, unregulated charcoal burning, and invasive species such as madenge tree, which blocks water pathways and invades farmland.
But now there is another body that is saying this madenge tree is important because it is beneficial. So that becomes a challenge. But if you can be able now to deforest the same madenge tree and use that madenge tree in a resource-based mechanism by probably making bricks. Instead of doing the charcoal burning, you can make the bricks from that. So basically, it's a one way in which the community needs to learn, and also how to deforest, because this tree is a nuisance. The seed themselves need germinated. You can be able to come up with the mechanisms in which you can be able to ensure that the deforestation takes place, and as we are planting other species that are beneficial for the community.
So from today's discussion, it was a robust discussion where we have learned a lot on especially issues pertaining land injustices here in Isiolo, particularly on the issue of double allocation, where you find that there property or land that was allocated by the de facto municipal council to community, the other one is allocated to individuals. So it's becoming such a big challenge to the people of Isiolo, especially now that they're in the process of allocation of title deeds and registration titles and all that. So the discussion is going to help in ensuring that there is justice, and also in development of policies and laws that are going to enhance the allocation of land, the registration of community lands, and all that.
Participants highlighted the urgent need for more inclusive benefit sharing, especially as carbon market initiatives expand in Isiolo. They also recommended the use of alternative justice system in solving land disputes and more community education on succession rights to reduce conflicts.
And it agrees this project or this audit has been able to find what are the gaps within the laws in the thematic areas. And of course, the recommendations have been geared towards finding solutions which now will map the way forward for the interest of the people of Isiolo County, and will give work now for both all the stakeholders involved, that is the people of Isiolo as a community, the national government, and of course the county government.
This research finding and the recommendations will help us to get guidelines on how to implement or resolve historical land disputes, help us to determine what is private, what is public, and what is community land. This research will also help us come up with a sustainable policy that will help us be able to ensure that issuance of allotments letters and land ownership documents is done without discrimination, fairly, without allowing corruption to marginalize or deprive innocent residents who have lived on land for many years and may not be able to acquire documentation. I think this document is timely, and this is what we'll be requiring as Isiolo County, where a majority of the people do not have ownership documents for the places they are living in.
With reference also, it is important to thank Legal Resource Foundation for this task. It's a huge task because land matters in Isiolo are well known. People moving to court, people fighting, having crashes over land, natural resources that are within the Isiolo. And with this project or with this audit, it is going to showcase what are the challenges within the legal framework of Isiolo, noting that currently in Isiolo, we rely more on the national laws versus internalizing or domesticating the national laws to the Isiolo mechanisms or the Isiolo laws. So with that, this document is going to enrich the people of Isiolo and also create a map of the direction in which the organization can work towards achieving and implementing this report.
In Mombasa, the audit turned its focus to policies addressing violent extremism and civic space. Here, community groups and government actors came together to deliberate on the risk faced by vulnerable groups.
The restrictions on CSOs, including mandatory permissions, reporting obligations, and funding disclosures, overboard definition of key terms like terrorism and violent extremities that enable misuse. And the most problematic one was Section 34, which was, limiting civil rights and, people feeling it needs urgent amendment. Other laws that were identified, so as much as this was our main concern, most people on the ground, human rights, the lawyers and the magistrates, they were very concerned about the Prevention of Organized Crime Act, its overlap with the POTA, the Penal Code, which allows for the ODPP to alter statements for trial and provisions as which is an abuse of the courts of the judicial system.
Stakeholders called for broader engagement of religious leaders, political actors and security agencies in order to counter violent extremism effectively.
Majority leader pale kwa bunge views zetu alikuwa anazichukua na hata yeye ndio tulikuwa tunamtumia kuhakikisha polisi zetu zimefika wapi na anatupa nini, anatupa feedback. The good thing now is the Mombasa County Action Plan on Prevention of Violent Extremism is being integrated.
They also recommended that future policies must include the perspectives of persons with disabilities, often overlooked in prevention efforts.
Then there was also comments about by the time they're coming for the public participation, it's strategic. They already have people who just say yes on those and it goes away. So it's really not effective in that aspect. So again, the use of opaque and scrutinized language that alienates community. So legal jargon is very verbose, so when they use big terminologies, Monanchi, Haileri, Nini, so and then you need to understand for you to be able to interpret. So even that interpretation is done in a very legalese manner, that it beats the whole purpose of educating the Monanchi at the end of the day.
From safeguarding fragile ecosystem in Isiolo to addressing the drivers of violent extremism in Mombasa, these policy audits shine a light on urgent gaps and opportunities for reform. By validating findings through inclusive dialogue, communities and government actors together are shaping stronger safeguards for human rights, civic space, and a more sustainable future.